Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and good morning. Welcome to the first video of EQT 271 Engineering Statistics. We're going to start with the basic to engineering statistics. As I said before, this is going to be the basic statistic, right? Not intermediate or advanced. This is a basic statistic where we turn data into meaningful insights. Okay. So I'm not going to do any new slides. I'm going to 100% refer to the books that you have. Right, that is good news. You can look at your books at home. Okay, just follow. My slide will 100% based on the books. Okay, this will be the outlines of the first chapter. We have what is statistic in engineering and how to collect the data, and then we're going to talk about for me this is the gist of this topic, right? The main thing that you need to be focusing on in this topic on point 1 on point 1.3 here, where we have data summary and presentation. Okay, so this is the learning objective. We have 11 of them. Try to see what is it, and later at the end of this topic you should be able to do all of these 11 things. Okay, now let's try to first look at statistic in engineering. Okay, what is actually statistics mean? Okay, statistics usually being relate to data, and of course it is true, right? Statistic becoming useful when you have data. If you have no data, then you can't use statistic. Okay, in engineering it is the same. It is about um, managing the data that you have in in any of your experiment. Okay, so in general, we all of us has experience in statistics, I believe, right? In every single aspect of our life, because we have data, right? In this new age, yes, we have a lot more data. Okay, this is an example of statistics, right? On roll, right? You have this data being displayed in term of a picture, right? Where you can look at in a glance, right? Where you have, they say that half Malaysian earn below 2,000. So if you look at this, we can not just in a glance you can know what is the average income for Malaysian by country, right? You don't need to look at it one by one. And the same for this one. This is tabulated in a table. Okay, this is other kind of infographic, right? You have here. This is statistic, and this is in more specific terms, this is descriptive statistic. Later we're going to touch what do we have in statistic, but for now let's just stay simple like this. So let's look at the definition, the book definition of statistic. It is the science of managing data. It is the art of conducting studies or experiment through collecting, organizing, summarizing, and analyzing. This is actually the process in sequence. So we'll start by collecting data, and then we organize it, and then we summarize it, and then we analyze it. Okay, this is actually the things that you're going to do later. Okay, before we draw some conclusion. Okay, statistic is applied nearly in all aspects of human life, right? I believe that is true. See, right? So let's see, what is engineering. I believe that you guys know this already. This is a field, right, that related to, of course, engineering, because it's engineering, but to relate it to statistic, right? They use statistic, or you guys later will use statistic as a tool in solving a problem. Okay, in other words, you are going to use statistic, the data, to find a pattern, right? To find some pattern, whether it is obvious or not, to find a pattern, and later to try to come up with the conclusion what should be done after this. Okay, so engineering here is used to invent, innovate, design, build, maintain, and all of these things, and statistic will help the engineers to accomplish it. Okay, so that is actually statistic and engineering. Statistics in engineering. In other words, you can't run away with statistics when it comes to engineering. Okay, so I did emphasize about this before, right? Statistical literacy, reasoning, and thinking. So when you learn statistics, this is the skills that you need to have. What is statistical literacy? It is knowledge and belief to properly assimilate and use the data, right, that we have. So that is statistical literacy. Okay, and then we have statistical reasoning, is on how people deal with statistical ideas and how they analyze it. Now this is what you're going to learn later. Okay, this is when you know statistical reasoning, you will able to justify all of your decision. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Based on the data. So statistical reasoning will help you to justify it. And then statistical thinking involve the ability to apply statistical knowledge and methods. Okay. Now, variable and variability. This is, as I said before, the key things, among the most important things that you need to have before we can conduct statistics. We should have variable and variability. Okay, variable is one thing. The variability is utmost important. So variable is any measured characteristic or attribute of interest that could be differ for different subjects or objects. In other words, variable is the thing that you want to look at. What do you want to measure? So that is the variable, right? Usually if you have experience in conducting or answering a questionnaire, right, they will ask you kind of gender, and then you have age, right? Those are a demographic question, and each of that particular thing is being asked, right? Gender, age, and so on, race, right? Those are called variable. Okay, and they might be different from different subject, meaning they might be different depending on the respondent. If I ask you, you might give me a different answer. If I ask your friend might give me a different answer, because there's a whole different data in that variable. Okay, so variability, right? The data value, they are different each time they are collected, right? Usually different. Okay, so in certain data, we have actually several different kind of data, right? We have nominal data, ordinal data. We're going to touch about it later, but usually data that is actually related to numerical data that can be calculated is actually data that have higher variability, because you can have decimal places there. Okay, so if you don't have variability, right, meaning that when you get the data, your data is almost the same, right, or the same, exactly the same. So there is no reason for you to use statistic to analyze the data, because you already know what will be the next data. Right? Let me try to give a bit of analogy. Right? If in your CGPA, right, in your class, you have a lot of different CGPA from 2.0 till 4.0, and there's a lot of numbers in the middle, right? So when somebody asks me what is your performance, what is this class performance, I might need to take all of the data and analyze it a bit using statistic. Maybe at least I will try to find out an average mean, right, to get the what is the average CGPA for that class, and then I will be able to conclude that yes, this is your performance, whether you are good or moderate or not, right? That meaning I'm using statistic because of the variability that you have in CGPA. Let's say if your CGPA in the whole class is similar, right? All of you have a CGPA of 3.4 to 3.5 only. There is nobody have CGPA lower than that or more than that. So I don't really need, when somebody asks me for your performance, I don't really need to analyze it deeply. I can just say that you guys having a good CGPA, because all of you are having CGPA more than 3.0. So you can see, right, why variability is important in statistics. Okay, so in other words, okay, you try to look at this point here. They want you to think, give an example of variable, and using the example, how would you relate variable and variability, right? So basically, variable is uh, the thing being measured, and variability is the data that you have in the variable, right? So that is variable and variability. Next, you have population and sample. Okay, population is the entire collection of objects or individuals that are being studied, and sample is the subset or a part of the population that being studied, right? So basically, population, if we are to use Unimap as an example, just to make it clear, sample here, population, if I said population of Unimap student, it means the whole Unimap students. That is what it means by population, right? If I say that population of RK90 student, meaning the whole students of RK90. Population of RK01 student, the whole population of RK01. So that is what it means by population. As for sample, it is a part or the subset of the respected population. Okay, so if I want to measure using sample, then I will take not all of the students, I will just take some of them using a suitable sampling technique that we'll be able to touch a bit later. Okay, that is sample and population. Okay, and then let's try to look a bit graphically what sample and population look like. Okay, I'm just using Google here, right, to find out about sample and population. Look at an image. Okay, this is a good example of image to represent population and sample. So let's say we have this is as the whole people that you have in that community population, right? If you want to use a sample of this population, meaning they are going to pick up person inside this population to become its sample. In other words, this person should have the same characteristic for this population. Okay, so that is sample and population. Next, we have descriptive statistic and impression statistic, right, which we are going to discuss in our next video. Thank you.